Good day, everyone. How is it going? I hope you are doing great because in this happy occasion, I would like to give you guys some journal review. But before we get down to the presentation review, let me show you the material that I will present. In the beginning, of course, as a reviewer, I will introduce myself. And the next, I will show you guys the article introduction. After that, finally, I'll show you the article review. And then we move to the next session, which is the abstract. And last but not least, as the reviewer, I will give my comment, suggestion, and conclusion based on this journal presentation. Okay, let's get started. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Lestari Kristianti. I'm from Class K2 English Study Program from University of Maritime Raja Ali Haji in Riau Archipelago. And this video that I make is to fulfilling my final exam in academic speaking course. Now, let's move on to the article introduction. Mastering vocabulary is important in getting know any language. This due to the fact vocabulary is built into all elements of the language, to be specific reading, writing, speaking, and listening. While not having sufficient vocabulary, it must be not possible to gather proper abilities in any language skill. Carranza et al. 2015 argues that being not able to communicate meaningfully is irrespective of how kids can examine grammar, no matter with which to carry a plus of a variety of meanings. Since English becomes the foreign language in Indonesia, it includes in school curriculum for elementary to high school. Sempak Dajit in 2014 states that despite frequent use of the English language both in and out of the classroom, students continue to face difficulties in their learning, and they usually see unfamiliar terms as the first obstacle to overcome. Asghari and Mustafa in 2011 are sure that can be due to the fact that vocabulary has been acknowledged as being critical to language use, and that learners with inadequate vocabulary knowledge have had problems in second language acquisition. Thinking about the significance of mastering vocabulary, it ought to learn using the suitable in strategy that students' vocabulary mastery can be stepped forward mainly at the senior school level in Bau-Bau, Southeast Sulawesi. It is supported by Carvipur and Navi in 2011, which argue that the use of learning methods is very essential in the process of vocabulary acquisition, and it is highly dependent on the efforts of the learners. Learning methods for vocabulary are a subset of language learning strategies that have received a great deal of attention since the late 170s. When it comes to learning words independently, a vocabulary strategy is a specific instructional instrument and method of going about it, directly or explicitly, as well as the independent word learning ability needed to do so. As stated by Nation in 2001, the languages of learning, listening, speaking, and reading have two distinct forms of vocabulary. This vocabulary is receptive, productive, passive, and active. Receptive of perceived vocabulary refers to words identified and understood by local and overseas speakers, which might be hardly ever used anyway. Productive or active vocabulary is actively spoken or written. The vocabulary of the pupil is commonly broader than that of the speaker, even as the vocabulary of the pupil is pretty massive. The reception vocabulary in most language novice is significantly less than its productive vocabulary. However, Nation and Wording in 1997 have proven the quantity to which this relationship is not ordinary or predictable, like with Carson in 1997 differentiates productivity from receptivity within the following way. He calls a stimulate vocabulary productive vocabulary. It consists of all the parts that pupils need in regular communication. A receptive vocabulary consists of efficient speech and the unexpired vocabulary of learners. Unsaid vocabulary may be separated into two forms. First, words which might be most effective but understood and little knowledge for active use. And second, terms that are not needed in regular communication. Furthermore, Haven in 2015 showed that there are two forms of vocabulary. It is the basic vocabulary and the peripheral language. The key word is the vocabulary containing the word which can be spoken every day. The outermost vocabulary is made up for infinite words which might be not often used. Gaining knowledge of vocabulary is not just about its form and significance. Paris and Hatton in 2009 advised that word learning consists of layers of meaning, some of syntactic guidelines and boundaries. In addition, they socially construct patterns for the right use of language, which mean pragmatic and social linguistic. Consequently, unique attention is needed within the study of vocabulary. Watch in Jones 2008 examines sure elements of making sure accurate gaining knowledge vocabulary. First, repeat exposures, which imply that pupils have to come across new words in numerous conditions over time. Seek to introduce new phrases as part of complex style, theme, or subject within the curriculum. Second, significant contexts that are words utilized in vocabulary mastering have to associate as plenty as possible to the life of experience of the pupils. Third, previous expertise studies within the context of knowledge words and ideas. New words ought to continually be delivered. Ask pupils to listing things they recognize about the subject before introducing a new word. Fourth, linking that illustrate or join the connection among new words and well-known words or concepts. Fifth, the contextual clues and dictionaries that pupils are used to discover the lacking of infamous word in the context of sentence or paragraph. And then, the manner pupils look up words within the dictionary should be combined with the way they should with the way they study them, pronounce them, and use them. That is, we said they come across new phrases to see them, speak them, and use them inside the written or oral context. It has occasionally been mixed with teachers. Richards and Runangia in 2002 notes in their powerful vocabulary teaching that expertise of the vocabulary mastered by pupils also to understand only English passage had to encompass understanding of the synonym, antonym, understanding derivative expertise, knowledge of the connector or connection, and the knowledge of the way to outline words in context. Now, let we move on to the article review. Finally, first of all, this journal or article that I review have a title which is Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy. Is it effective to improve vocabulary mastery achievement in senior high school students? This journal was uploaded in August 2021. Volume 8, number 2, and the author is Rizal Arisman. This journal was published at Journal of English for Academic. The object of this research is senior high school students, and the research problems is inadequate vocabulary knowledge. The keyword from this journal or article is vocabulary self-collection, strategy, vocabulary mastery achievement. The research method that used in this journal is a quantitative approach of quasi-experimental design. The data source from this journal or article is vocabulary tests that accumulate and analyze using descriptive statistics. The research from this research article is the vocabulary self-collection strategy was more effective than the conventional method. The purpose of this research was to find out whether there was a significant difference in vocabulary mastery between students who were taught using vocabulary self-collection strategy and those who were taught using a conventional method. The advantage from this research is excellent and very good category are achieved by 10 students or 33.33% of the total students. But the lack of the research is there were students or around 10% achieves very poor category of mastering vocabulary. So, the conclusion from the article is primarily based on the results of the data analysis as provided firmly within the descriptive analysis, supported through the hypothesis test and the effectiveness test. This research concludes that there's a significant difference in the achievement of vocabulary proficiency among students at those that are taught using self-taught vocabulary collection strategy and those who are taught through the conventional approach. It may be seen inside the average score of the POD test, in which inside the experimental class it is 79.67 and it is categorized as good. It means that students gain an awesome command of vocabulary after being taught using the vocabulary collection strategy. For contrast, the mean post-test score in the control class is 69.83 and is classified as fair. It reveals that the students have an appropriate achievement in vocabulary mastery after being taught using the conventional method. Moreover, the results of the evaluation test conclude that the vocabulary self-collection approach is greater effective than the conventional approach. From the research of the M.ed test, it may recur that the mean score within the experimental class is 47.75% and it is 25.11% within the control class. Observing the results of each course, this research suggests to use the vocabulary self-collection strategy in teaching vocabulary, since it is better to improve students' vocabulary mastery achievement than the conventional method. Finally, now we were in the last section, which is the reviewer commands, suggestion, and conclusion, which is in this section. As a reviewer, I will give my command, suggestion, and conclude my presentation journal review. So let's get started. The research used in this journal is appropriate to achieve the target of the research result in this journal. I suggest to the other researchers who want to use the same case as this article that I was reviewed, I think it could be better if they find another effective way to maximize students' mastering vocabulary skill. In short, the article with a title Vocabulary Self-Collection Strategy: Is it effective to improve vocabulary mastery achievement on senior high school students? That has 11 pages, starts from page 168 until 178, was intended to find out whether there was a significant difference in vocabulary mastery between students who were taught using vocabulary self-collection strategy and those who were taught using a conventional method. And the answer is yes, it is. Okay guys, I think that's all that I can explain to you. Thank you for your kind attention. I'm so sorry if there is so much mispronunciation during my video. If you have some comment, suggestion, or question for me during this video journal presentation, you can comment down on the comment section. I hope you guys stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you and see you on the next semester. Goodbye.